Dulce, for joining us. Introduce yourself.
Yes, hi. So I'm Dulce Martinez. I'm the coordinator of student recruitment for Texas Southmost College. And I'm going to be guiding you kind of through, like Chris said, just our general enrollment process, some financial aid information, and also just answering any questions or, tips for college freshmen, things like that. You want to go ahead and get started? We can
go right ahead. And then we might have
great.
LaFeria join us. And if so, we'll just do quick introductions and just resume.
No worries. Okay, so really what I wanted to start with, and I'm going to do a share screen here, I want to start with our website. This is actually one of the best resources that you can use, one of the best things that students can use to get information. Getting onto a website for the very first time when you're a student, even a first-generation college student or someone who's never been exposed to it before, it can be a little intimidating. So just to walk through the process, one of the first things that you'll do as a student is, of course, go to New Students. And then you'll kind of scroll over to Admissions and Records. It's going to be your first stop. With Admissions and Records, we have something here at TSC that we call our one-stop shop. It's student services, our student services center. We keep everything together. So our admissions, financial aid, testing, advising, we're all in the same main building, and we're only steps from each other so that the student doesn't feel like they're being, kind of led throughout campus. Everything's in one central location. So those are our hours of operation and things like that. You can see that there. It says on here the different services. We also have veterans and military services available. Just below on the left-hand side, I want to show you where it says enrollment checklist. Our enrollment checklist, this is the step-by-step guide to becoming a student at TSC. And honestly, it's very similar to a lot of the requirements for other schools in the state of Texas. The first thing is the Apply Texas application. So they would do Apply Texas. It takes about 2 to 3 business days to process. And then once it does, Texas Southmost College is open admission. So anybody who applies is automatically accepted. We just need you to go through the process of completing the enrollment requirements. Listed after the applytexas.org is submit transcripts. Now, if they are a graduating senior, their transcripts we will accept, if they're doing it early enough, if they're doing it all now, we'll accept their 7th semester transcripts. To clear this requirement, and then what we'll do is we'll just put a note on their account saying that once their official transcript comes in with their graduation date, once we receive that electronically, we'll clear that note or that hold on them. But it won't keep them from starting college. It won't keep them from registering for classes. It's just to let us know that their official transcript will be coming later. Proof of residency for high school students, again, this is just to know if the student is in district or out of district. Residency will be, or the proof of residency for a high school student will be their transcripts. So they don't really have to worry too much about the residency issue. Their transcript will clear them for the transcript requirement and will also clear them for residency. Give me 1 second. Let me scroll down here. The next thing on here that's really important is immunization. So this is a requirement in the entire state. Students are exempt if they're 22 years of age or older, but anybody younger than that will need to provide documentation showing that they did receive their meningitis vaccine. This will be at any state school. Testing, the only test that we require at TSC is the TSC exam, the Texas Success Initiative, which is the basic college entrance exam. Reading, writing, and math, we do need all 3 scores. Just to get into testing a little bit, so they just need to take the test. They don't have to pass it, and I don't want to say that it's not important for them to pass the test because it really is. It's just that we use the TSI exam to know at what level these students need to start taking classes. If they need help with remediation, we do offer remedial courses or developmental courses, like we like to call them. But we see the test as more of a tool to let us know where the student needs to start. If they take the exam and maybe they even take it a few times and they're not passing college algebra, we want them to be able to start college, but their developmental course is going to get them to the point where they will be successful taking college level courses. So we strive to get them up to par so that they're successful in their college courses. So that's kind of how the TSI ties into our enrollment process and why it's so important for us. We want every student to try their best on the exam, but we understand that sometimes they're lacking in an area here or there. Well, we want to help them get to the point where they can be successful at college level. The next thing, academic advising, that's actually the last thing on here. Academic advising is the point where everything else is cleared and they are ready to make their schedule. Registration for Texas Southmost College in Brownsville will start March 26th. Let me double check, hold on. Yes, so summer and fall early registration begins on March 26th. So the sooner that these high school seniors can get cleared with all of this information, the better. But honestly, it's very common that other schools have the same general time frame. So even if they're considering going somewhere else, it's going to be the same general time frame. But very soon after spring break is when our classes post for the summer and the fall. Down here at the very bottom, I just want to touch on this really quickly because it's very important. So the FERPA statement is very important. We always have to verify that the student that is inquiring about information is who they say they are. It's for their own privacy and protection. We always require that if they come in person, that they bring a form of valid ID. And honestly, that's going to be across the board at any institution that you go to. So that was our checklist. Let's go back really quickly. Again, the website itself is going to be a really great tool and a resource. There's other things, of course, that the students can look at if they wanted to get that meningitis form to take to their clinic or their doctor to get cleared for the meningitis requirement. We have it on here as well. They can go to admissions records forms and scroll down, and bacterial meningitis form is right here. Let's go back. There's information on FERPA, on TSC IDs. There's a lot of information here. So when you go back to the home page, you can go to, of course, everybody wants to, hi there. We have someone new on the screen. So the next tab, do you want to do introductions really quick or?
Yes, I'm a teacher, Young Lee, and we have 5 students here.
I don't know if you guys can see my face right now. Can you see my face now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hi. I'm Dulce Martinez, guys. I am the coordinator of student recruitment at Texas Southmost College in Brownsville. I'm just going over some very general information about how to enroll at our school, but just know some of the things that I go over, they're kind of general all throughout the board for college admissions. So it's kind of a general idea, but I'm using our school as a platform to get that across to you. So I'm just going to go back to the screen where I was showing. I'm using our website. So honestly, guys, when you're trying to find out information about a college or school that you're interested in, your biggest resource right off the bat is going to be to search their website. Go on their website, get familiar with it, get to know the different tabs and what applies to you. So I just looked at the new student tab. Always look for something like that. The new student tab is where you'll probably find most of the things that apply to you and what you're trying to figure out. We went to admissions and records, and one of the things that really helps us here at our school for enrollment is our enrollment you go to admissions and records, and then you go to our enrollment checklist. So I won't go through the whole thing again, but basically you do the application on Apply Texas, you submit your transcripts, which your counselors have. That will clear you for proof of residency. And you do need to get your meningitis vaccine, guys. If you all have not gotten your booster or you've not gotten your bacterial meningitis vaccine, try to work on that now, just because when you are under the age of 17, I believe it's a little bit more affordable. I believe the price goes up for this shot or this vaccination once you turn 18. But definitely try to get that up to date. Make sure your records are nice and clear and not falling apart. Oftentimes, schools will receive like immunization records from people, and they're crumbling and you can't really read them. And so that means a lot of moving around for you guys to try to get more information. So try to make sure that everything's nice and neat and you can see all of the information that needs to be seen. The test required is TSI for our school. That's just the basic college entrance exam. Reading, writing, and math, all 3 sections are required. You don't have to pass them, you just have to take them. And I want to emphasize that does not mean that you want to slack on this exam. Any college entrance exam that you take, guys, is really important. Those scores are what tell your future college or your school or university at what level you need to start taking classes, okay? So they're a tool used by the institution to help figure out how you're going to best fit in the classes. So academic advising was the last step. That's when you sit down with an advisor, talk about your plan, and register for courses. We mentioned the FERPA statement. Students, it's really important. I can see you guys. I can see your class. Can you all tell me or raise your hand if you guys have a state ID or some form of photo ID, like a driver's license? Yes, awesome, guys.
Hello.
Hi.
Can I interject? Yeah, our students have done this process already.
Oh, good. Okay.
We can talk about more about scholarship opportunities and
sure. That's
yeah,
actually,
yes, that'll be great.
yes, that is next on the list. So make sure that you have some form of photo ID, and that's awesome that you guys have that. That's fantastic. A lot of students forget about that part. Hold on, let me get one more thing up. So I'm going to go back to that main page, and I know that scholarship opportunities and financial aid are super important. Everybody knows that financial aid was posted in October, so if you haven't done your FAFSA, make sure that you do get on that. So under new student tab, again, at most colleges, that's where you're going to find the information you need to start with your financial aid. So we'll click on our financial aid tab, and it kind of gives you a rundown here. Financial aid checklist is really important, so we'll click on that. This is eligibility, FSA ID. You need to make sure that you guys set all of that up as well. This is just kind of break it down for you. It's pretty extensive, but you can find it on the website, and you can on most schools' website you can find this information. Okay, so I'll close that. Types of aid is what we're going to look at. So types of aid, these are the different kinds of financial aid help that you can get. So federal grants, state grants, loans, work study, special programs, and scholarships. And so most of these, or as you guys know, for loans, you guys have to pay those back. Federal and state grants are available depending on your situation and what the FAFSA comes back with your what you qualify for. What I also want to talk about is this work study. So I don't know if any of you, show of hands, how many of you think you might want to work while you're going to college? A few of you. That's fantastic, guys. Honestly, work study is really important. We actually value it very much at Texas Southmost College. We employ a lot of our students, and I just want to encourage you guys to get this experience now. That way, when you do graduate with your degree, you're more marketable because you have professional skills under your belts. And you have something on your actual resume that you can put on there. So let me scroll down here. It goes into detail how to apply for work study. work-study opportunities and things like that. Another form of working while you're in school is called student worker. So the difference between a student worker and a work-study is work-study students get paid through financial aid, and that's why it's listed on this financial aid information page. Student workers are part-time jobs available on campus that you get paid by the actual school. It's not so much for those who get paid through financial aid. Now, it's the same amount of hours, the same responsibilities, exactly the same. It's just you're getting paid by a different institution. So let me just open another tab really quick so that you can see on our main page. See on the side here on the right where it says jobs at TSC, you would basically click on there, go to search jobs, and anything that says student worker is something, it's going to be a job that's available. So student worker at Student Life, that's a fun one. I'll click on it just so you can see and scroll down a little bit. So it's part-time, up to 19 hours a week, and know that when you work on campus with us guys, or pretty much at any college or university, working on campus can be so helpful because oftentimes we prioritize your school schedule. So we're always going to work around what your school schedule is going to be. Classes come first, work comes immediately second after that. So just a heads up on that if you know you are somebody who's going to want to work while you're going to school. Let's see. Okay, so back to the financial aid page. There's a lot of information on work study that you can look up. The next thing I want to touch on is right here where it says scholarships.
Real quick, Dulce, before you get into scholarships, or you can start bringing it up.
Sure.
One thing that I keep hearing from recruiters that I think is real important for students, they might be familiar with working some other place. The benefits of doing the work study is you can check it and always check yes, and that does not obligate you to work in the university or in the college. But it's like a placeholder. What happens if you find out your friends are working on campus and then you want to get it done, they either don't have an opening anymore, or by the time you apply, they're going to put you on a waiting list and they're going to fill all those other people that applied first.
Correct.
It doesn't lock you in. It locks like a placeholder in, and then it gives you options. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a really good point, Chris. Even if you're not sure, guys, if you're not completely sure if you want to do work study or not, just check yes when you're doing your financial aid, or let financial aid know that you want to do that. Just so like Chris said, you'll have a placeholder. They'll know that you're at least interested, and the process will be a little smoother if you do want to work on campus. So we're back at scholarships, types of scholarships. It gives you a description here where you can look at institutional, endowments, grants, state, private, and it gives you a little description here. On our website where you can look, so there's information here on the left, but to see the actual opportunities, you can click where it says scholarship opportunities, and it will list many of them. Now, please notice the deadlines on some of these have passed, and that's fine. What we do is we keep them up there just so that you can see what was available in the past, because some of them are reoccurring, so they may come back. So we leave them up there just so that you can see the types of scholarships that are usually available. And if their deadlines have passed now, it may just be that we're waiting for them to reoccur, and we'll update that once the scholarship has been offered again. But I'm trying to see if I can maneuver here. Okay. So as we scroll down, there's a few here. For example, this one. Let's take a look at Tutor and People Essay Scholarship. This one's off and ongoing. The deadline for this one is August 2018. And some of the requirements are that you're an undergraduate full-time student. But all you need to do is click where it says website, and it'll take you to the website for that particular grant and give you all of the details, okay? This is where you know for sure how you fit into this grant and what you qualify for, okay? It'll give you deadlines. It'll give you all kinds of things, okay? What I want to specify, guys, when you're looking at, or just a little bit of advice, when you are looking to apply for a scholarship, or when you're about to start, college, the advice I give is apply to as many scholarships that you qualify for as you can. So go over as any that the deadline hasn't passed, check on them, check all of the requirements, and if you qualify, just apply to it. I've been on a few committees for approval of scholarships, and sometimes students will get money by default because there's money in a scholarship, let's say for 5 students and only 3 apply. If you've got a great essay and you met all those requirements, more than likely you're going to get that help. You're going to get some money or that scholarship. So a lot of times, you know, just apply to as many as you possibly can that you see that you qualify for. Do we have any questions? Does anybody have any questions that they want to ask?
Yes, I think they know exactly what they can apply, and they are already in the process of applying for many local and national scholarships.
Fantastic.
And they are all the semi-finalists for the Dell Scholarship.
That's great. That's, you see, that's fantastic. And, you know, whatever you can add to that, different institutions have their own scholarships as well. So there may be, you know, a national scholarship or a certain type of scholarship that you are already in the running for. But if you go to the particular school in which you want to attend and go to their website, kind of like I'm doing here, you may find even more scholarships that you qualify for. Just based on what has been awarded to that school in particular. So just food for thought, just things to think about, just a little advice for you to kind of browse and see what else is out there, because there is a lot of help out there. So that's just kind of the gist of that. Let me go ahead and go back. And again, there's a lot of information on the website that can help you maneuver through. Does anybody else have any questions? Maybe some concerns that you're iffy about starting college, going to a university, maybe transferring? I know when you start at a community college or a local college like TSC or STC in McAllen or TSTC in Harlingen, most people worry about how those credits are going to transfer, but I can tell you that all of the local community colleges transfer fully. And it's a good way to start, save some money, and then transfer out. A few things that people don't realize is that you get familiar with college life. You get familiar with college campus, how to deal with professors, how to talk to, or how to communicate better with professors, how to maneuver your assignments and structure your time. Because as you know, guys, once you get into college, there's really not going to be anyone behind you telling you, you know, you got to turn in your homework, you've got to be on class on time. So it's good to just consider how, or start planning or thinking about how you're going to structure that for yourselves, and how to self-advocate. So any questions on that about college life or anything in particular? No?
Yeah, Dulce, I just was chiming in. I think that's a great advice, and I hear that more and more, even among professionals and colleagues. Mm-hmm. They said if I had to do it over again, I would definitely go the junior college route, or going to college first, because it's so affordable, it's so cheap, and so many students can graduate with certificates or an associate's degree without owing any money, and a lot, you're even taking dual enrollment at the high school level, and so you're getting a semester, 2 semesters out of the way.
Absolutely.
Really shrink your debt.
Yeah, it really is, guys. Honestly, at a junior college, your tuition is going to be a lot lower than if you start right at a university. So your financial aid and those scholarships and things that you qualify for are going to go farther. That money is going to go farther. So you'll be able to take care of more classes with that. Now, one of the things that that oftentimes happen is what I was saying was that sometimes you go off to a university or you start at a university and sometimes the class sizes can be really large and you're not used to that. Sometimes the pace can be really fast and you're not used to that. Or if you leave the valley, the cost of living can be really expensive. So starting locally can be a way to save money for 2 years until you're ready to, save up. You've got something that can help you when you do move to maybe UTSA or to Houston or anywhere that you want to go to a university. You can have that little bit of money saved up so that when you do move up there, you're more equipped to be successful. So just things to think about. It's exciting. It's an exciting time for you guys. So.
And also, like you said, if you have work study or you're working throughout, once you get a certificate or an associate's, you're going to have a leg up on the competition. So if you do go to university, now you've got some either job experience or some credentials. So if you're applying for a job, you're going to be more qualified than, say, a freshman or sophomore that's just...
Absolutely. And I have to use one of my student workers as an example. So I have a student worker who started with me. He's graduating at the end of spring, and he's been accepted and is moving to UTSA. He now will have an associate's degree under his belt, so he has already applied for some positions up in San Antonio. He has been interviewed by, I think, 2 places that he wanted to go to and got a really great response back. So being able to do that when you move away is just a better way to prepare yourself and make sure that you'll be more successful. So I'm really excited for him. He's leaving at the end of spring, and he's going to go be a road runner. So he's going from Scorpion to road runner, so we're excited for him.
What do you think, guys?
Thank you. I have to go now, but yeah. Thank you for the info.
Okay. It was nice meeting you guys. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
All right. Have a
Thank you
great
for
day.
participating.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Excellent. Were y'all from this area or what campus?
This is the Southwest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
This is Southwest.
yes.
Nice.
Excellent. So
Wonderful.
Alonso Garcia shared with you.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Bye.
Anytime. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Hey.
Okay.
Okay.
If there's anything that you didn't cover, we can continue since we're recording. If you covered,
I think I pretty much covered, all of the basic ground. But no, I think that's it. Did you have anything else that maybe you think we should add?
no, I mean, I know a lot of times you go into these sessions and you have like your little checklist of your own, make sure
I know.
this and this, so I don't forget something. I'm that way too. I don't want to, leave something out. And so
I think we're good.
Okay.
We went over enrollment, the checklist. It's really important. We try to keep it really simple, bullet pointed. Let's get to the point. Let's get exactly what you need so that you don't feel like you're being tossed around. We really want to be straightforward with everybody so that they can get what they need in, get cleared, get started. Registration is going to start right after spring break, March 26th, and that's for summer and fall. But yeah, that's what we're looking forward to.
If you could just, if we can end on contact information, whether yours or like if you have a general recruiting site, whatever you want to share.
We don't have a general recruiting site, but what I can do is pop up my another way that our website is a great resource is that we have our staff directory.
Okay.
But it's really a great way to get in contact with anybody in particular. But for myself, again, Dulce Martinez, I'm the coordinator of student recruitment. You can contact me for tours, for any kind of information that I can, anything that I can help with.
Okay.
So here I am. There's my email address.
Okay. We'll just keep that on the screen for a minute, and then I can stop the recording. And that way, again, like I was sharing earlier with John Cunningham from Texas State,
Yes.
some kid reached out. He's like, how did you get my information? He's like, the internet. He's like, I'm not on the internet, you know. And then as he kind of researched more, he's like, yeah, on YouTube, you know. And so he went through.
That is awesome.
When he started talking about this webinar, then it clicked. Oh, Chris, cybermentoring, you know. And so
that is fantastic.
Yeah. So
no, thank you so much. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Dulce. I really appreciate you spending the time with us today.
No problem.
Best of luck.
Thanks.
Continue
Alrighty.
recruiting efforts.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.